So good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of our Saturday Sports Personality here on Atlantic Television Network. I am Ekpo Temple and I'm so elated to be your host on today's edition of the show. So on today's edition of the show, we'll take a look at Coventry. Take a look at Coventry, Kistili Coventry Seaward. Is the name that resonates with resilience, excellence, and groundbreaking achievements. So from Olympic glory to becoming the first African and first woman to be elected president of International Olympic Committee, her journey truly is nothing short of inspiring. And so you do have to join me as we delve into her remarkable story. And of course, our guest today is Epele Rex Emmanuel. Emmanuel, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good morning, Temple. Good morning, listeners. Thank you for having me on the show.
Okay, we've got a short break now. When we come back, we'll delve deeply into everything about this lady and why she is our sports personality on today's edition of the show. Thank you for tuning in. Don't change the dial. All right, so welcome back from that break. I did mention earlier that our focus on today's edition of the show will be to preview and profile a legend in making, Kirsty Lil Coventry Seward. She's an Olympic champion sports administrator. She's a politician, and soon, and of course, not soon again because that has been named. We saw it coming already, but somehow we needed to wait till the election was over. And so she's now the first female and African to emerge as a president of the International Olympic Committee. And this is due to her resilience, her life ambition, and everything that she stands for, her core values. But today, so with that emergence, that has prompted us to say, who is this woman? And let's get to talk about her. Once again, I have Rex Epele here. Rex, let's start with where she was born. No doubt, born on September 16th, 1983, in Zimbabwe. She has a passion for swimming, and she began at a very young age. She trained at the Highland Swimming Club, showed promises of time to world-class athlete, setting the stage for her Olympic glory. Ordinarily, she would have said, okay, let me nationalize with the USA, right? Because she got most of her training from her schooling. But somehow, no, she decided to go for that. And so in 2000 Sydney Olympic, she became known and she represented Zimbabwe as the swimmer, and she got to the semi-finals. The world took notice of her. She got the potentials, and of course, that was the beginning of that name, Kirsty Coventry. She claimed gold in the 200-meter backstroke, silver in 100-meter backstroke, and bronze in 200-meter individual medley, putting Zimbabwe on the global swimming map for the first time. 4 years after that Sydney Olympic, she also created another legacy, bringing home another gold and 3 silver, becoming Africa's most decorated Olympian with a total of 7 medals. Rex, I come back to you now. When you listen to these types of trajectories and you get to see how she started her life, the question that comes to mind is, when she burst into the national scene, nurturing from how she started, what made her stand out as a young athlete at the level when she, was discovered?
Well, let me start by saying that looking at her trajectory, when you have passion for something, you will definitely excel in it. You can see the passion she had. She had passion in swimming, and she made sure that she made everything possible for her to achieve that. When you have passion, you become consistent with your day-to-day tasks or activities, and you also make sure that you're consistent with what you do. I think that's what really drives her to achieving success.
Fast forward to 2004, when she finally got herself that particular one. She won 3 medals, including a gold. How significant was this moment, not just for her, but for Zimbabwe and African sports in general?
Look at it from this angle. When an African athlete excels, it brings inspiration. Not just inspiration, it brings pride and a sense of possibility to the continent, demonstrating that success can be achieved through hard work and determination. So she also succeeding not just as on a personal level, but also bringing a lot of inspiration and to role model to the younger generation. Take for instance, some people are coming up in marginalized communities and looking up to her. They can get some inspiration that they can pursue their dreams, and they can also excel in their various fields. So look at also the other opportunities that comes with it. You look at the economic opportunity. You also look at the well-to-do people, that when you give them the opportunity to excel in any form of endeavor, they can as well do better than that. So I think it goes a long way to portray that image to the continent.
Of course, it goes a long way to portray, and that's why a lady like Kirsty Coventry has really created history in the annals of her time. Another area is to look at her collegiates. Her time at Auburn University seems to have played a pivotal role in the development of the person we're talking about today. The first question that comes is, how do you think her college career helped shape her to who she was? Would it have been possible if not for her schooling in Osborne, in college, where she represented the Tigers, her club, and participating for some of the national collegiate athletics meets, where she was well even more discovered, and of course that gave her the zeal to participate in national activities.
There's a popular saying that says, "Catch them young." When you catch an athlete at a very tender age, it gives them the platform to grow slowly, and to also improve on their personal growth.
Yeah.
Like I remember those days when we were in captain of JS3, become the captain of JS2. So giving that sense of responsibility makes you want to grow yourself, makes you competitive. Like, okay, we are playing against JSS2 or we are playing against JSS3. So you know that you want to outshine your competitors to make sure that you achieve something, and or maybe you receive a medal or something. So I think it calls for personal growth. It calls for discipline. It also gives you teamwork, that leadership ability. So I think when you are able to catch athletes at that college level, it gives them the opportunity to grow, and and when they grow, they tend to grow to a global stage.
Another thing is, she had the option. She was born in Harare, Zimbabwe, so she had the option of staying back, and schooling in Zimbabwe. So why is it that? Well, okay, let me say, what does it? Why does our African schooling abroad makes me think that we do not have enough capacity in terms of intellectual development and maybe technical know-how of getting out the best potentials from their already inbuilt talent? I don't know if you get my question.
Yeah. From what you're saying is
Because she would have stayed back in Zimbabwe. Maybe her talent would have been discovered, isn't it? So, but she chose to go to, Osborne University, where her talent was further enhanced. So, do we not have enough in Africa to care for our budding talents?
I think Africa, when it comes to the world stage, we are still growing, we are still evolving. If you look at the developed countries in the world, you see that Africa is still trying to match up to the likes of United States of America, the likes of UN, the likes of Britain and the rest. So Africa, we are still evolving. So we've not gotten to that stage, but it's a work in progress. So I think it is not a bad idea for talents at their evolving stage to seek greener pastures elsewhere, overseas, to make sure that their talents are properly harnessed. I think with time, as we put our house in order, put our administrative work in order, we'll be able to get to that particular stage in our own involvement. So I think we are growing. It's a work in progress.
Well, growing, and of course, no doubt. Kirsty Ali Coventry was very outstanding in different facets, winning from 2004 to 2008. That was 3 different Olympics. 2000 to 2008, 3 different Olympics. So one ordinary should be asking. She won a lot of medals between those times. Which of these stood out for you, and you feel that whenever that name comes to your mind, it resonates with you? She won a lot of medals at the Olympics level. But which of these medals stood out for you, and which of these Olympics from 2000 to 2008?
I think the gold medal she won, that was the 2004 in Athens Olympics, on the backstroke. Yeah, I think that was what stood out for her, because remember, she was coming from the college stage. Sure. She was involving, so she had an opportunity to showcase herself during the Olympics. I think that's what really propelled her to that world stage, and I think people began to see potentials in her, and she went further to the Beijing to also do much more better. So I think that stage of the 2004 Athens and the 2008 Beijing is what really propelled her to success.
And let's take a look at her world championship. Of course, you know that athletes have a lot of world championship and meets, and the record that she was able to achieve. Her dominance extended even beyond the Olympics. So anybody who thinks that it ended in the Olympic, no, because she had a lot of world athletics events that she participated even after school, when she was now a full recognized athlete. Because at the level of collegiate, there are limits to the kind of competitions you participate. And so when she finally was unveiled at the Olympic, and after school she became a main-time swimmer competing with world swimmers. And from 2005 to 2009, she shined at the World Championship, breaking multiple records. I remember vividly that in 2009, she set a new world record in the 200-meter backstroke, just the way she did at the Olympics. And so a title she had for years. So she became exceptional. And that was why a lot of people always know her at that time. She was known as the FINA swimmer of the championship title, making her, a household name at international level. And that was also what attracted her to be part of the Olympic movement, just after her retirement. She competed at five consecutive Olympic Games, and it's no small feat, Rex, to compete in 5 Olympic Games. Funke Oshonaike of Nigeria competed in 7 Olympic Games. She became an Olympian and inducted into the halls of fame. Okay, but for herself, she also became an Olympian, because if you compete in 5 Olympic, you become inducted into the Olympic Hall of Fame. So that can also be fantastic. And I ask myself, how many athletes, get to the level of being inducted, or stay for a period, consistently stay for a long period to be inducted into the Hall of Fame of the Olympics?
It's very few. In fact, from my observation and from my research, that she's the first female
Yeah, first.
Olympian that has ever won the highest medal so
Sure.
far in Africa. So
8 in swimming.
in swimming and also in Africa.
In Africa, none come close.
Yes, so you can see that that she's been there. She's not just been there; she's been consistent, and it shows that she's been dedicated to her craft. I think that it's a lesson that we should draw inspiration from her, especially those that are coming up. That
From 2000, Athens, at Sydney 2000, Athens 2004, Beijing 2008. Does it elude the fact that, I mean, no matter what she achieved, it's made little or no key mark in her prowess?
no, no. Of course, we've seen people come from even the dead zones. I'll call them the dead zones, like the countries that are not recognized, anywhere in the world map, and they try to make name for themselves and also for their countries. So I think that she, being at that stage, Zimbabwe was not even among the country at that time when it comes to athletics, but she was able to make a mark for herself and for her country, and also for the continent at large, which is Africa. So I think that it's not about where you're coming from; it's about what you can offer, what you can bring to the table.
What you can offer, bring to the table, and of course, in Rio 2016, she reached the finals of the 200-meter backstroke, finishing sixth. After an illustrious career spanning over 16 years, she retired, leaving behind a legacy as one of the greatest swimmers of her generation. So, a illustrious career of 16 years. I mean, after 5 Olympic appearances and a career decorated with medals and world records, Koveteri retired, no doubt, in 2016. How would you summarize her impact on swimming and African sports?
Well, to me, she's already a legend.
Okay.
Not just a legend in the making. She's now a legend. She has entered into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So I think that her stay she's been very competitive, and she has done well for herself. So it takes us to other areas, even in life. If you're succeeding in life, it shows that you should push forward to that high calling, to that order where you'll be highly recognized. You'll be known that this is what you do, and you're perfect in what you do. To get to that legendary, as in legendary, which
Status.
of like status. If you're playing football, for instance, you know that I'm playing football to be a Ronaldo or to be a Messi. If you're playing table tennis, you know that I'm playing table tennis to be a Roger Federer or a Novak Djokovic, and so you have to get to that point. So to achieve that, so I think she has done well for herself and for the continent.
We are still profiling Koveteri. Kistilil can add Seaward to her name because the husband, when she got married, we'll talk about that later on, she became Seawards. Okay, but we're looking at her life and how she emerged as the new president of the International Olympic Committee. And no surprises. I mean, look at the wonderful achievements, behind the lady you're seeing on your screen. But now we're going to a short break now. When we come back, we'll still have more to digest here on Sports Personality on Atlantic Television Network. Don't go anywhere. All right, you're welcome back to Sports Personality here on Atlantic Television Network. We are still looking at the life and the activities and how our darling Coventry emerged as the new president of the IOC. And of course, for you to talk about how she emerged, you need to look at her personality. You know, the totality of who she is and how she got to this level. And so, but we'll get to unveil that, you know, in the next couple of minutes, because we'll take a look at, we'll talk about her background, we'll talk about her schooling, we'll talk about the potentials and her skill and what she did in swimming, her legacies in swimming, participating in World Athletics meet and all that, the Olympic, and the records that she shattered and also created for herself. But let's come back a little and let's talk about how she evolved from her college after she retired, in putting 16 years of service in athletics. And let's take a look at her political career. Retirement from swimming did not mean she stepped away from public service, right? In 2018, Coventry embraced a new challenge. She entered into politics and she was appointed as Zimbabwe's Minister of Youth, Sports, Arts and Creation. Her tenure has been marked by effort to reform the administration and, of course, empower youth, though not without criticism, because some of her policies, of course, elicited some internal criticism, being a woman, but she remained steadfast. She was very dogged, and, of course, her mission was to use her platform to propagate and to champion the cause of sports development and to inspire the next generation of athletes, which she did quite well. Let's shift a gear a little bit, and let's look at how she transitioned from becoming an athlete to an administrator and becoming a political administrator in this, in this sense. Do you think that she got it all rosy, and how was she able to manage this, knowing fully well that it is always difficult? Yeah, gender equality, but in Africa, the gender equality is more propagated with voice than in action. So how do you think as a female getting to be appointed as a minister of youth, sports, arts and creation, she doubled that in 4 ministries in one, how was she able to maneuver her way as a politician and for athletes becoming a politician and an administrator?
Because there's a particular gender that is being stereotyped, women in particular. Look at even in Nigeria here, they don't offer women the opportunities for them to play lead roles, especially in politics.
Yeah.
So, but I think that she has broken that barrier to show that what a man can do, somehow a woman can also do better. Okay, so she has broken that barrier. She has been on top of the management of sport in Athletic Federation in Zimbabwe, and she has really done well, and she has gotten to a point where she became an activist at some point, always fighting for the welfare of athletes. So when you are in that position, it shows that you're in a better leadership position to lead. So I think she has done well for the athletes, fighting for their welfare, and that has brought her to shape her political career also. After
being inducted into the Hall of Fame as one of the Olympians, and of course she got the ticket to participate as junior Olympians in terms of administrator. That was what the position that Funka Oshinake tried to go the last time when she became inducted into the Hall of Olympics. There are young Olympic movements. I'm sure she was able to get that particular sport, or she was voted. You need to be voted, and Funka Oshinake lost the last time, but then maybe she won that particular one, and she decided to take it one more step, where she served as chairman of the Athletes Commission, advocating for the right of athletes and also welfare. From there, her leadership, vision and dedication earned her widespread respect, and in 2005, just on Thursday, this last Thursday, she became
2025.
Yes, she became in the 144th edition or session of the International Olympic Committee. She emerged as the president of the IOC. How does this, tell about this lady and the career she has built for herself?
This is a lady look at her antecedents. Even when she was an athlete, she was always moving, evolving.
Yeah, she
from
was
one
moving,
point
yeah,
to another till she became a legend, and she has entered into politics, and she's also evolving to also become a legend in the making in politics. So I think that this lady it shows that she's resilient, she has passion for whatever she's doing, and she has determination to achieve success. So I think that it goes a long way to show that despite her gender as a woman, you know, she can always, women can succeed. She's portraying a good image, a good precedent to other women that follow my footsteps. If you follow me, the way I succeeded, you can as well succeed also, even in the world of or in your own career or anything you do in life.
At 41, one begin to wonder if she can match the records and the monumental achievements of the outgoing president, Thomas Bach.
Of course, she can. Anything is possible. You know, in life, she has her own vision. Okay. She has her own goal. Like I said, what a man can do, a woman can do, especially when it comes to leadership. Women should be given equal rights to also pioneer the affairs of leadership. And I think looking at what she has, or her involvement, or the way she has been carrying herself and moving so far, I think she can be able to do more forward.
Lord Cole is about 66 years old, equivalent to the age of Thomas Bach. You think it was intentional for those who voted for her to say, okay, let's get young blood and let's not keep it at the level of old, more like a transition from the norm? Because the norm used to be, you must get to a certain level, age, President Trump, age. So do you think he is deviating from the norm and saying, we need a fresh blood? She's 41 years old, and that was why they also picked her and as part of the politics that they played, as against going back to the norm, which is getting older guys taking over from older guys.
Yes, I think leadership should be given to the younger generation, because why? The younger generation have a fresh perspective, they have a fresh idea. We call them the Gen Z or the Gen Alpha generation. They have a better perspective on how to make things work. The millennial generation is there, but sometimes some of the ideas are outdated. Yeah. You know, but in this technological age, we have young people who are technological driven ideas. They want to make sure that things work. They want to make sure that they do things with AI, with this. So I think that this younger generation have a more better strategic ideas when it comes to leadership than the older generation.
So how do you see her? You know,
Africans have more collaboration with the IOC community, countries and all that, and in so doing, it will create a lot of development for Africa. It will also create a lot of coaching opportunities for African coaches who are also interested in coaching in athletics and all that. So I think it's on a broader perspective, it goes a long way to show that we have a president right now in the IOC, not just from Zimbabwe, but also in Africa. And that means a growth for African sports and athletics in
terms of distraction. Don't you think that the appointment as the Minister of Sports, Youth, Art and Recreation can, you know, distract her? You think that automatically with this new emergence now, she will have to forgo that one?
I think if she's capable, she can match the both. I've seen people who were Minister of this, Minister of Tourism, and the Minister of so maybe so they can you can marry the
because
two
what
together.
It means is that, you know, she has to be moving around. She have to be in different continents, different, you know, every day of her life she has to be thinking and formulating policies.
Yeah. Policy making is part of it. Like I said, there was a time you can see people becoming the president and also becoming Minister of Petroleum Resources, Minister of this and Minister of that.
But that's in one enclave.
Yeah.
That's in the same milieu. Okay, it is in the same level. It's not as compared to what we are talking about now, where she have to be at the world stage and at the national
stage.
So So we look at it from that contrasting view, and you ask yourself, is it very possible to achieving that?
It can be possible, but it's left for the Zimbabwe Federation to look at it critically. Okay, Seward Coventry, she is in Zimbabwe, and looking at this, if they put all their indices together and they see that she's still capable of piloting the both affairs, both at the IOC level, I think she can as well give it her best shot.
If you ask me, I think she will just resign and focus on her job.
Focus on her job at the IOC level.
That's to me, that's enough. All right, let's talk about her personal career as we begin to round up the show this morning. I mean, Socrates will say that man knows thyself.
Yeah.
And Aristotle will say that the milieu of a man shapes who he becomes. So let's take a look at her lifestyle. Behind all the accolades and the penchants we've shown towards Kirsty Coventry, she responsibilities, how she led a fulfilling lifestyle. She's a married woman with she got married to Seward in 2019, and of course they welcomed 2013, and they welcomed their first son in 2019. And I'm just beginning to see what would have transpired that year in her athletics career, because in 2019 she was, okay, she retired in 2016, so she achieved everything. So she never had she got done with her career before she got married, and possibly that would have been very late in her age. But somehow she was still able to achieving that. Coping with politics, being a married man, sometimes it's difficult to see athletes get married. Sometimes they feel that we feel that they don't love to get married, but some of them just have the plans and needed the right persons in their life.
Yeah, I think that it has to do with your personal goals, personal objective also.
Okay.
Like, take a look at her. If you look at, there's the disparity between the time she got married and the time she started ended her career and the time she started having kids.
Sure.
You see that there's a bridge of gap. So I think that it goes a long way to show that the husband she got married to is a bit supportive. Because just imagine she started she got married 2013, ended her career 2016, then got their first child at 2019. So you can see, if the husband is not supportive, maybe the husband would have put her in a family way, and maybe her career would have ended before 2016. So I think athletes are very intentional about their goals and objectives to make sure that they achieve that before putting family or issues on ground. So I think it goes a long way to show that whatever you do in life, be focused, make sure that you achieve it before bringing someone else into your life to enable you go forward.
So what do you think the future holds for her?
Well, the future holds for her right now, the future holds for her is pointing towards Africa, not just Zimbabwe. Make sure that you bring development to Africa, not just Zimbabwe. Make sure that Africa is seen as a roadmap or through you. So I think she has an enormous task on her to make sure that there is growth in Africa when it comes to athletics.
Of course, we have been looking at the profile of Kirsty Coventry, and of course, if you know her trajectories like we have unraveled, you know truly that she is one of the big names, coming from a very small country in Africa, and from what she has achieved, not just for not just about the country she was coming from, but through her name, the country has gained global recognition. And so, what are the lessons for the viewer? What are the lessons for teaming youths, and what are the lessons we need to learn from such resourceful story in Kirsty Coventry?
Yeah, well, one of the I'll take it step by step. One of them is passion.
Okay.
Whatever you do in life, be passionate about it. Give it your all. Passion is a strong enthusiasm. I know, but she said as soon as she got passion for barbing hair. So, and she's a lady. it was a bit of a stereotype thing, like how can a lady be? But that was where her passion is, and she learned it, and now she's making waves with it. She's doing very well. People dash her money, like, oh, come on, I'm surprised you're a lady and you're doing this. So she's going with it. So passion is key. So whatever you do, make sure you develop passion. Then number 2, make sure you have resilience. Don't just give up so quickly, because there'll be trying times, there'll be difficulties along the way. But make sure you have resilience, the perseverance to make sure that you overcome those challenges. And also, you also look at the teamwork. You know, make sure you foster a good relationship with people around you, people that can assist you, people that can propel your growth. Make sure you have a cordial or working relationship with them. That will also guide you. Then the last one, but not the least, is mentorship. I think it's good for someone to have a good mentor. Like, look at her now. The younger athletes can look at her and say, oh, I want to be like Kirsty Coventry. Looking at her career path, how she has been able to achieve, even in athletics and also in politics. You can say, oh, I want to be like this person. And with that mentorship dream of becoming like this person, you see yourself going further, pushing yourself further to make sure that you even go beyond what the person has also achieved in her career.
Beautiful. I mean, there's been a wonderful conversation here. From the pool to global stage, Kirsty Coventry has redefined possibilities and continue to pave the way for future generations. And like you said, her name is synonymous with passion, resilience, teamwork, and of course, with that, she's been able to achieve and break careers in her path. Without passion and perseverance, they ended this inspiring story of Kirsty Coventry this week. Next week will be another beautiful and inspiring moment where we'll come again with another name. But until then, thank you so much, Rex, for being part of the conversation here. We appreciate your presence and, of course, your interesting and insightful analysis. Zekbo Temple is my name, and I'm saying have a lovely Saturday. Enjoy, but stay locked on Atlantic Television Network. Bye-bye.